One team that I think is going to benefit in the SEC, and our third topic here, 2023 Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah.
Jake, that I'm high on Kentucky. I was high on them last year. I thought that, hey, they had all the pieces, but I discounted how big of a loss Liam Coen from that team as the play caller was going to be last year. And then I did not think they would be as bad on the offensive line. I think they've fortified that on the offensive line this year. Liam Coen comes back. Plus, you've got Devin Leary there. And am I crazy to think that Kentucky has one of the better trios at wide receiver in all the SEC, and Dane King, Barian Brown, and Tavion Robinson?
No, it's and bringing Liam back is huge for those guys too. Look, what we all know that Barian is an absolute witch, 100%, and you got a supporting cast around him. I like them bringing in Ray Davis from Vanderbilt, the running back. I think that kid's got a little ability. Here's who Kentucky is, and I think Liam understands that. Understands who Kentucky is. Kentucky is a physical team that likes to slide under the radar and go out, play good defense, and get a little bit creative on offense. Liam gets creative enough where obviously they're not in the Eddie Grand system of 1935 style offense. But the offensive line was such a big letdown for Kentucky last year. And I know they were beat up, right? I know they had trouble protecting Will. I like the transfer portal moves they made in the offensive line. They kicked a couple guys right. They moved Yeager to center. They bumped guards back to their normal spots. I think Kentucky's going to be better up front on the offensive line. And we all know, look, balance keeps you on the beam when it comes to anything in football, not just offense, but defense and team as well. But Kentucky has to be able to run the ball more effectively this year to be able to open that up for guys like Barian and Dane and Tavion to be able to go do what they do. And I think that with Liam now, with what he likes to do formationally, with what his motion game is really good. He does a really good job of motioning you into what he wants to get you in and then taking advantage of space. And Devin Leary, we had the Peck issue last year and all. Remember all the raving reviews about NC State going in that they could make the playoff. Watch out for NC State. I think Devin Leary is a little bit pissed off to me, and he should be. Yeah. He should be. And he throws a really pretty ball. I think he does have nuance as a passer. And I think he has that chip on his shoulder. How many people are really talking about Devin Leary this year? You're not hearing nearly as much about Devin Leary this year as you did last year, and I think that's good. I think the same thing is happening for Kentucky as a team. Kentucky on defense, that with Mark Stoops, they're always going to be fine. They're going to be a top 25 defense, top 30 defense. They're going to hold you to field goals in the red zone. They're going to be tough against the run. But now you bring back Liam Coen, a guy who has been in the league before, has had success in the league before. You match him with Devin Leary. And Wan'Dale Robinson did a lot for Kentucky now. I don't think people really realize how good you see him now out in the NFL, what he's doing. And he's little as can be, but quicker than a hiccup. But he hit a lot of problems for Kentucky. I like the Wildcats in the underdog role. I like their schedule a lot, too. When you look at that, that's huge. If they're able to end the year strong at South Carolina and at Louisville, I don't think Kentucky finishing second in the East is crazy at all, because there's a lot of question marks about Joe Milton right now, too. I got to see it.
Well, you mentioned that schedule. Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vanderbilt, Florida, who I don't think Florida's what Florida used to be, at least not this year. Give Napier time. He's going to get it there, but they don't have the horses this year. 5-0. If you do what you're supposed to, you're 5-0 going into Athens to play Georgia. Probably a loss there, even though Kentucky always plays Georgia tough. Then you get Missouri at home. What I was pointing out with this schedule, and you and I were talking before, that Florida game is at home. The Missouri game, home. Tennessee game at home. Alabama game at home. And, oh, by the way, that Alabama game, Alabama comes off of playing LSU. So Alabama has a physical contest against LSU and then has to turn around and go to Lexington in November. It's going to be cold up there. The Wildcats are going to be physical in that game. I'm just saying, don't be shocked if some of these big-time games that are at home for Kentucky end up going their way at Kroger Field this year. Is that a fair assessment?
No, it is. First off, I hate they call it Kroger Field. I can't stand that. That's the worst stadium name I've ever heard. I feel like I need to put in my phone number to maybe save $8 on groceries when I go up there. But I agree with you 100%. That Tennessee game is massive. It is
bye week. They get a bye week before the Tennessee game.
The schedule could not – if you have to play Georgia, Bama, and Tennessee, The way it lines up, it could not line up any better for Tennessee. And again, look, you got to win the games that you probably should win. I think Missouri's a little sneaky too. I really like what they return on defense. That's going to be a physical game. But I would not be shocked if you looked up and Kentucky was 9-3 at the end of the year. Now you got look, every team has to catch breaks, right? Every team has to catch breaks. That Georgia game, you're probably going to take an L, but I'm with you 100%, Blayne. And not a lot of people look. Tennessee's a sexy pick, and I get it. Josh Heupel, if Joe Milton can throw the changeup, Tennessee's a problem. They're a legit problem, and they get Georgia at home, right? Florida, look, I believe in Graham Mertz about as much as I believe in the Snuffleupagus. I don't. I'm sorry. Look, if I want somebody just to throw checkdowns, heck, I'll do it for half the scholarship. But at the end of the day, Kentucky, the experience, how good they're going to be up front, the improvement up front, how much better and more experienced they're going to be at the skill position, and quarterback, obviously, Will Levis. As much as I didn't love where the Titans taking him, he was still a really good college player. But at the end of the day, man, Kentucky, second in the East is not a far stretch at all. And you win that Tennessee game, and you're humming along.
Yeah, I just can't believe when you look at the schedule, like we said, all those home games, and before you get, not only does Kentucky get a bye before Tennessee plays at Alabama the week before.
Yep.
And then and as I mentioned, Alabama, the week before they play, Kentucky plays LSU. You could not ask for anything better if you're Mark Stoops.
No excuses.
This is no excuses. If they're going to be good, this is the year to be good.